When I tell people I used to clean motel bathrooms while my sister got paid to post about spas, they think I'm joking. I'm not. She once made $5 grand just for writing about cucumber water. Meanwhile, I was scrubbing toilets and picking hair out of shower drains. I worked 3 jobs just to pay rent, and she flew to Paris for free because a brand wanted her to post 1 photo of their face cream. She never lifted a finger growing up. I always did the chores, helped mum cook, and studied hard. She skipped school, lied her way through everything, and still got praised. Somehow, everything always worked out for her. She became an influencer almost by accident. I helped her set up her first Instagram account. I even took the pictures. Back then, she said I was her inspiration. That didn't last. As her following grew, she started acting like she was better than everyone, especially me. She called me real-world dumb and made fun of my jobs. She had a fancy apartment, a rich fiancé, and a manager. I had a uniform and aching feet, but she still called me when she needed help, to edit her posts, to carry her bags, to clean up after her parties. She'd say, "You're good at this stuff, you're organized," but it never felt like a compliment. It felt like she wanted to keep me small. She always had a way of making people believe whatever she said. Even our parents thought she was a star. They'd ask me why I couldn't be more like her. They didn't know she was using me the whole time. She knew I was struggling, and she liked it. She liked being the one on top. I hated how I let it happen, but I stayed quiet until I saw something that changed everything. It was small at first, just a message she left open on her laptop. But that one message led to something bigger, and I realized she wasn't just lucky, she was cheating. And finally, for once in my life, I had something she didn't. She made one mistake, one that gave me all the power back. We grew up in the same house, shared the same parents, went to the same school, but somehow, it always felt like we lived in 2 different worlds. From the outside, we looked like any other family, but inside, it was clear. My sister could do no wrong, and I could do no right. Even when we were little, she knew how to twist things around. If she broke something, she'd cry and say I pushed her. If she didn't finish her homework, she'd claim I stole it. And my parents, they believed her every time. They'd look at me with disappointment, asking, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" It didn't matter how hard I worked. I cleaned the dishes, folded laundry, helped mom in the kitchen. I did well in school, tried to follow the rules, kept my head down. My sister, meanwhile, would sneak out, lie to teachers, steal small things from stores, and get away with all of it. When she smiled and played the sweet daughter, no one wanted to believe she could be cruel. Once, she crashed Dad's car after taking it without permission. I was grounded because she told them I gave her the keys. I didn't even know she had taken them until it was too late. Another time, she stole cash from Mum's purse and said I was jealous and trying to frame her. I cried trying to defend myself, but the damage was done. After a while, I stopped fighting. It didn't matter what I said. In their eyes, she was the golden child. Pretty, charming, perfect. I was just the other one. I started to believe it myself. Maybe I really was just meant to be in the background. Maybe some people are just unlucky, but part of me never gave up. I watched her carefully. I paid attention to the lies, the tricks, the way she could fake emotions on command. I saw the look in her eyes when she got away with something, that smug little glint. And over time, I stopped trying to be like her. I started thinking about how I could protect myself from her. I didn't know then that one day, those years of watching and learning would come in handy. That one day, she would slip, and I would finally have the chance to stop being the one left behind. Growing up, she used her lies to stay on top, and I paid the price. But people like her always think they're smarter than everyone else. They never think the quiet one is paying attention. And I was. Getting fired from my 3rd job in 6 months felt like the final blow. I was trying so hard to hold things together. Rent, bills, groceries, and still, nothing worked out. This time, I had a job interview that could have changed everything, but my sister called me in the middle of it, crying, saying it was an emergency. I rushed out, only to find she'd just locked herself out of her apartment. No fire, no danger, just her usual drama. By the time I got back, the interviewer had left. I didn't get a second chance. At dinner that weekend, she bragged about landing a new deal with a skincare brand. My parents were glowing with pride. She barely glanced at me until she turned and said, "I've actually been thinking, maybe you can work for me. I could use an assistant." I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I needed money, and she knew it, so I said yes. From day one, it was clear she didn't see me as a sister, just someone to boss around. I carried her shopping bags, ran to get her coffee, even cleaned her messy apartment while she lounged in a robe. She made me take fake photos of her waking up naturally and write fake comments on her posts to make her look more popular. She called it helping her brand. I called it humiliating. The worst part came one night when I stayed late to finish cleaning her place after a photo shoot. She thought I had left. I heard her laughing with two of her influencer friends. "She's useful," she said. "Kind of like a little housemaid. She does what I say. She's not smart, but she tries." They all laughed. I stood there, just out of sight, frozen. I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. All those years of being blamed, used, overlooked, and now this. She didn't even respect me enough to hide how she really saw me. That night, something in me cracked. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, quiet and still, knowing one thing for sure. This was my breaking point, and I wasn't going to be her shadow anymore. After that night, I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I stopped thinking of myself as the loser sister who just couldn't catch a break. I started watching her more closely, not as a sister, but as someone studying a threat. And the more I paid attention, the more cracks I began to see. She trusted me too much. That was her first mistake. She left her laptop open, her phone unlocked, and always talked freely in front of me. She thought I was too stupid to understand her world, but I started recording things, quietly, carefully. I began taking screenshots when she wasn't looking, forwarding emails to myself, saving files she didn't even notice. I didn't have a plan yet, but something told me I'd need this one day. It started small, things that felt shady, but not criminal, like faking product reviews or asking me to post fake positive comments under different accounts. Then I found out she had bought tens of thousands of followers, not just once, but regularly. Her brand was a lie, built on numbers that weren't real. She also posted about products she was paid to promote, but never marked them as ads. That's illegal. But her fans thought she was being authentic. Still, that wasn't the worst of it. One day, while she was in the shower, her email pinged on her laptop. I glanced and froze. There were messages between her and a brand rep from a huge skincare company. At first, it seemed like normal negotiation, but then I saw the attachments, photos, inappropriate ones, and one line in her message stopped me cold. "I'm sure you wouldn't want these getting out, so let's keep the deal going." She was blackmailing him. That changed everything. I saved the emails, the photos, the conversation threads. I backed everything up twice, once on a hard drive, once in the cloud. Suddenly, I wasn't just some tired, broke assistant with nothing. I had leverage. I started to realize how far she was willing to go to stay on top. She didn't care who she hurt, not me, not brands, not even strangers online. She was playing a dangerous game, and for the first time, I had the power to stop her. I didn't know exactly what I'd do with it yet, but I knew this. The girl who always got away with everything had finally left behind a trail, and I was going to follow it, all the way to the end. I knew I had to play the long game. If I pushed too fast, she'd catch on. So I pretended to forgive her. I told her I wanted to move on, that I believed in her brand and thought we could work together. She ate it up. She liked the idea of being seen as the generous sister, the one who lifted me up. So I pitched her a campaign, a fake sisterhood empowerment series, videos, posts, live streams about supporting each other as women, all while pushing her sponsors. She loved it, said it would make her look deep and relatable. That's when she gave me full access to her social media accounts, her emails, even her content calendar. She said, "You're better at organizing this stuff than I am." I smiled and said thank you. From there, I got to work, slowly, carefully. I didn't want her to notice at first. I started with small things. I accidentally posted a blurry photo on her feed with the wrong caption. Then I deleted a few scheduled emails to brands. Nothing big, just enough to annoy her, enough to make her doubt her own memory. She blamed her phone, the app, even Mercury retrograde, never me. I started making little edits to her posts, changing a few words, shifting the tone. A message meant to sound strong and empowering came off rude and tone-deaf. One week, I posted a story too early, ruining the launch of a sponsored product. Her followers started asking questions. Brands got confused, but everything looked fine on the surface. Meanwhile, I kept collecting more. Every rude message she sent, every shady deal she tried to hide, every time she lied to a brand or faked data. I had it all. She was too busy enjoying the spotlight to notice. She thought she was smarter, always 5 steps ahead, but the truth was, she had given me the keys to her entire world, and I was quietly pulling it apart from the inside. She thought she had full control, but she didn't realize she'd just handed it over to the one person who knew exactly how much damage a quiet assistant could do. It started with one big sponsorship falling through. A luxury skincare brand she'd been bragging about for weeks suddenly pulled out of the deal. No warning, no explanation, just a short, cold email saying they were no longer moving forward. She lost it. She screamed at her phone, paced the apartment, and blamed everyone but herself. She said the brand was jealous, that they were unprofessional, that they must have made a mistake. I stood there, pretending to be confused, pretending to care. Then I quietly said, maybe someone leaked something. She froze. Leaked what? I shrugged. I don't know. Maybe someone sent them something that made you look bad. It was just enough to plant the seed. I could see the suspicion forming behind her eyes. She didn't say anything, but I knew she'd start wondering, not just about the brand, but about me. That was my first strike. Quiet, clean, no proof, just doubt. Over the next few days, I kept going, not online, but offline. I talked to our parents. Nothing obvious, just small things. She's been really stressed lately, I told Mom. Sometimes she says things that I don't think she means. I told Dad she'd been drinking more, forgetting meetings. I didn't lie. I just let them connect the dots themselves. Then I reached out to a couple of her old friends, the ones she'd drifted from after getting famous. I said she wanted to reconnect. She misses you, I said, but she feels guilty. She told me she wishes she hadn't treated you so badly. They were surprised, and maybe a little bitter, but they listened. Meanwhile, she started to spiral. She double-checked her posts, reread her emails, asked me if I'd noticed anything weird. I played dumb. I helped her search her inbox. I even offered to draft apology messages just in case. She thanked me, told me I was the only one she could trust. I smiled. Then one night, she snapped. She accused me of messing with her content, of deleting things behind her back. Her eyes were wild. "Are you trying to ruin me?" she shouted. I looked at her, hurt and confused. On purpose. "Why would you say that? I've done everything for you. I'm just trying to help." She didn't know what to say. She was angry, but now she looked unsure. That was the beauty of it. She had no proof, just fear. She thought I was falling apart, but really, it was her, and I had only just begun. I waited until everything was ready. Every file sorted, every message backed up, every screenshot labeled. Then I put it all together into one neat little folder. Recordings of her lying to brands, screenshots of her buying fake followers, emails where she threatened a brand rep with private photos. It was all there. I created a burner email and sent it to every major influencer gossip account I could find. At first, nothing happened. A few hours passed. Then one of the accounts posted a cryptic story. Big T dropping soon. Fake followers, blackmail, y'all aren't ready. Within minutes, her name was trending. Comments exploded. People were tagging brands, asking for explanations. Followers dug up old posts, comparing numbers, pointing out lies. The story spread like wildfire. By the end of the day, 3 of her biggest sponsors had released statements. They were reassessing partnerships. That was code for "we're out." She was still in denial. She called the brands, screaming, claimed it was all fake, said someone was jealous and trying to ruin her. She tried to act calm on Instagram, posting a smiling selfie with the caption, "Grateful for those who support me," even when others tried to tear me down. But the comments told the truth. People weren't buying it. Then her fiancé found out. He didn't call. He showed up at her apartment with a cold, hard look in his eyes. I watched from the hallway as he confronted her. He wasn't just angry, he was betrayed. He had invested in her brand, poured thousands into her image, her business, her fake success. And now it was collapsing. He left without saying goodbye. She ran after him, begging, crying, but he didn't turn around. I stayed silent. She didn't know who had leaked the truth. She didn't even suspect me. Not yet. All she knew was her perfect world was falling apart, piece by piece, and I was the one who lit the match. While she had been busy chasing fame, I'd been building something real, quietly, in the background. I used my free time, the hours between errands, before cleaning, after fake Instagram shoots, to learn. I took online courses, watched videos, read everything I could about small business, marketing, and digital design. And slowly, I started my own thing. A modest but honest brand selling handmade skincare products made with real ingredients and real reviews. I didn't have many followers at first. I didn't pay for likes. I didn't beg for attention. But I had loyal customers, real ones, who appreciated that I wasn't pretending to be something I wasn't. After the expose went viral, I stayed silent for a while. I wanted the dust to settle, but people started asking, who leaked it? Who brought down the queen of fake influence? I didn't confirm anything. I didn't need to. A few influencer watchdog accounts started putting the pieces together. Someone noticed how her former assistant had a tiny but clean growing business. Someone else pointed out how my product page had 5-star reviews, no bots, no drama. Then it happened. A small brand I admired reached out to me. They said they respected what I'd done. They liked that I stood for something honest, and they wanted to collaborate. That was the beginning. One partnership led to another. Suddenly, I had more orders than I could fill. People started sharing my products on their own pages. No sponsorships, no pressure, just word of mouth. My parents, who used to only talk about my sister's achievements, started asking me questions, real questions, like how my business was going, what I was planning next. My dad even offered to help me open a separate savings account for it, just to keep it safe. My mom told a neighbor she was proud of me. I almost didn't believe it. Meanwhile, my sister had gone dark. No posts, no deals, no fiancé. Her apartment, once filled with PR packages and designer clothes, was now quiet. She tried to do damage control, but no one cared. Her sponsors had all dropped her. Her influence had disappeared the moment the truth came out. Now, she was broke, isolated, and no one returned her calls. She went from jet-setting across the world to sitting alone in a barely furnished apartment. And I was finally free, not just from her, but from the idea that I had to stay in her shadow forever. I didn't win by pretending to be better. I won by being real, something she never learned to do. It had been months since we last spoke. After everything that happened, she disappeared. No more posts, no brand deals, no spotlight. I thought she'd never talk to me again until I got a message. Just one line. Can we meet? Please. I stared at it for a while. Then I replied, tomorrow, 3 p.m., the cafe on 5th. She was already there when I arrived, sitting by the window, sunglasses on, hoodie pulled low. She looked like a ghost of the girl she used to be. No glam, no gloss, just tired eyes and chipped nails. She stood up fast when she saw me. Thank you for coming, she said, trying to smile. I didn't smile back. I just sat down and waited. I know what you think of me, she started, voice shaky, and I probably deserve it, but I'm in a really bad place. I nodded, let her talk. I lost the apartment, the brands, everything. Even my so-called friends won't answer my calls anymore. Her eyes were glossy now, and I know I don't have the right to ask you for anything, but I'm desperate. I really am. She looked me dead in the eyes. I need help, just a place to stay, alone, something to get me back on my feet, just for a few weeks. For a second, I almost felt something, not pity, not forgiveness, just a tiny echo of the girl I used to share a room with, the one who tricked me, laughed at me, made me feel small. I took a deep breath. Then I leaned forward and said quietly, no, but you can scrub my bathroom if you want. Her face twisted. What? I have work, real work. I built something honest. I don't owe you anything. You stepped on me for years. And now you want me to lift you up? I said I was sorry, she whispered. No, I said. You said you needed help. You never apologized. She sat back, silent, as if the weight of it finally hit her. I'm not cruel, I said, but I'm done being used. If you want to earn something for real, start with a mop. I stood up and walked out, leaving her there, in the corner of a half-empty cafe, alone, small, and finally seeing the world the way I had for years. I didn't start out wanting revenge. That part always surprises people. I didn't sit around plotting ways to ruin her. All I ever wanted was for her to treat me like a person, not a servant, not a joke, not her shadow. I wanted respect, a little recognition, maybe a thank you once in a while, but she couldn't give me that. Even when she had everything, money, followers, fame, a fiancé, it still wasn't enough unless she had power over me too. She needed to see me struggle to feel important. She made jokes at my expense, handed me scraps disguised as favors, and smiled when I was beneath her. For years, I let it happen. I told myself to be patient. That hard work would eventually pay off. That kindness mattered. But eventually, something in me changed. Not suddenly, not all at once, just a slow, quiet shift. A voice inside me saying, "She's never going to stop, and no one's coming to save you." So I saved myself. I didn't scream. I didn't fight her directly. I used the tools she taught me: image, control, manipulation, and turned them against her. I gave her exactly what she gave me: the feeling of being small, powerless, and forgotten. When it was all over, people called me a hero, said I was brave for exposing the truth. But that's not how I felt. I wasn't proud. I wasn't happy. What I felt was something colder, something sharper: satisfaction. Because now I had what I wanted all along: control over my own life. My business was growing. My name meant something, not because of her, but because I'd proven I could stand on my own. People respected me now. Brands trusted me. My parents actually listened when I spoke. And her, she was the one scraping by, taking odd jobs, sleeping in a friend's guest room, watching everything she built slip through her fingers because it was never real to begin with. She doesn't look at me the same way anymore. That smirk she used to wear is gone. She knows I saw her. Not the filtered version, not the polished lie, but the real her. And she knows I beat her at her own game. Sometimes I catch her looking at me like she still can't believe it happened, like she's still waiting for someone to wake her up. But no one's coming. She always said I'd never be anything without her. Turns out she was right, because destroying her made me everything I am. Do you think she went too far by tearing her sister's life apart? Or was it the only way to finally get the respect she deserved? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really curious to hear your take. And if you like stories with betrayal, twists, and unexpected endings, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new one.